Good afternoon and welcome to the association.
More hands. Hello, welcome.
Hello and welcome to the AIS RoundTable. I am your host for today, Nanaya Ochonyo, and with me are...
Oh, hi, I'm Kevin Wanting.
Hi, I'm Effa.
My name is Jed.
And my name is Verona.
And today we're talking about neocolonialism. What is it, you say? Well, it was coined by our very own president, Kwame Nkrumah. It's when Western countries take control of less developed countries through indirect means. So why are we talking about it today? I'll ask Jed to help us with that.
Neocolonialism is an issue because it is unregulated. It leads to an irregular development in the economy of the client country, which harms it rather than benefits it. In addition, the natural resources that are being produced in the country end up being used by the imperial power to develop itself rather than the weaker nation. This also harms the economy. Also, it leads to an over-reliance of the weaker nation on the imperial power for defense and security, which helps and makes it easier for the client country to be overrun by the imperial power.
So basically, what you're saying is that they become falsely independent. It's just an illusion, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we have some examples of that happening here in Africa, and I'll ask Kevin, Jed, and Kevin, Verona, and Effa to help me with that.
Oh, okay, let me start off. Let me use an example which is of Zambia, which is China's most developed nation in Africa. China itself owns about over 20% of Zambia's national debt, which is insane. Because of its excessive spending in mining, infrastructure projects that the Zambian government continues to allow to be paid for through the Chinese government. And this also leads to the nation being just sorely dependent on China as this funnel of cash, in a sense, which is never gonna go, because it's like they feel like a life support system in a sense. Like, you guys understand that? Like,
Yeah.
It's like your heart; you can't stop beating fast.
Yeah.
But like that's not real dependence. It's like cigarettes or something. They give you false joy or happiness, but they don't really give you real engagement or real experiences or anything like that.
I think that makes sense. I have another example, Kenya. So recently, I think in around 2016, 17, they completed the standard gauge railway that comes from Mombasa to Nairobi. Those are like the two main cities in Kenya. And this increased, obviously, a lot of job opportunities for Kenyans and allowed for better transportation for Kenyans. But the problem is the Kenyan government got the loan from the Chinese government, and this was about $4 billion, and they were supposed to pay that off over the course of I think 5 years, which by the way has elapsed. And the problem is that this is just one example of how Kenya is continuously reliant on the Chinese government and its banks for loans for economic development. The thing is, even though the standard gauge railway is a really good thing for Kenya in terms of improvement in infrastructure and all, it's also bad because if you look at the kind of treatment that Kenyan workers in the SGR get as compared to Chinese workers, who by the way are actually quite a lot. So you wonder how they're employing a lot of Chinese workers as well as Kenyan workers, which beats the whole point.
Yeah.
So they get better treatment than the Kenyan workers. The Chinese workers, according to a website I was reading, the Chinese workers get to smoke and use their phones while they're working on the train, whereas the Kenyan workers can't do that. And when you go to like the main terminals, when the workers are having lunch, the Kenyan workers, they don't necessarily mingle with the Chinese workers because it's a class divide. And I think this is representative of how China is slowly taking over these African countries that think that they're actually helping them develop their economic like status and helping them build their economy, while they're actually digging themselves into a hole and putting themselves into excessive debt that they're not able to pay.
So it's like a lamb, it's like a wolf playing the sheep.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's bring this closer to home. China has struck a deal with Ghana, a $2.2 billion deal to build infrastructure and railways to help improve Ghana's economic status. Unfortunately, what's happening is that we are paying them with bauxite, which is the main source of aluminium, which is very valuable in today's world. And the reason why this is an issue is because we actually need these raw materials to survive. At the moment, African countries, we don't really have like a place in the world, should I say, playing field trading.
Yeah, but Ghana isn't Ghana the highest leading trader of cocoa?
I mean, other than agricultural, we're not leading in anything.
And
Exactly.
everything else. So aluminium could be a big thing for us. Unfortunately, we have to pay them in that. Not only are we paying them in cash, we are also paying them with raw materials that could help better their economy as opposed to ours. And what makes this further, like, more of an issue is the fact that we could actually be doing this for ourselves. It's not like we don't have the money. We are building a national cathedral, and the money could be used to improve other sectors of our economy to like help better ourselves, but we're not, unfortunately. And it's not just China too. We've talked about China's influence in Africa, but also I feel like they're a bit louder about it, but the US and the UK as well. There's the infamous Idripa deal, where basically a huge sum of our gold is being given away to powers like the World Bank and so on, which is not helpful for us at all, especially since last year the price of gold was at an all-time high. It doesn't make sense for us to be giving them away like almost for free.
Okay, now that we've said everything we wanted to talk about, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll discuss everything we discussed and unpack the problem of neocolonialism.
Hello AIS parents. Did you know that AIS has various social platforms? You get to interact with us and help us share content on these platforms. Join the AIS social family for an exciting journey.
Welcome back to the AIS RoundTable on Season 1, Episode 1, where we're talking about neocolonialism and its effects. Previously, we talked about how neocolonialism has affected us in Ghana here, and now we're going to unpack all of that. So, does anyone have anything to say based on that? Why is it a problem in the end?
So I'll talk in perspective of Kenya. So Kenya is one of the fastest growing economies in East Africa. And I think that this is due to the natural resources that are available. But I think that the Chinese is also slowly taking over. I think the Mombasa port, which is one of the main points of entries in East Africa again, is practically taken over by the Chinese. And the problem with this is that the ports can be a main source of income for the country, and it can help grow its economy. But if another nation is taking over it, that kind of kills the whole thing. So how do we expect to grow when we're depending on other people to grow, but we're actually just, diminishing our economy slowly by slowly?
Yeah, but won't you at least gain something from maybe the infrastructure for education, healthcare? At least.
But what's the point of having amazing schools when at the end you're not even in control of them? Someone else is in control of them, and they're the ones getting benefit from them.
Yeah, but what about your citizens that are getting benefits?
Your citizens are getting benefits, but it comes with a catch, because they're not entirely getting the full benefit. You go into debt, and to go into debt, most countries increase tax, and you're kind of harming your citizens by doing that.
Well, wouldn't it benefit them in the long run?
Not really, more of in the short term.
But won't you get more trained professionals?
You get more trained professionals, but most of them come from the countries, like let's say the Chinese, for instance. the Chinese are invading even the rural parts of Kenya. I remember when I went home last summer, when I was in the rural area, I saw a bunch of Chinese people doing road construction. These are things that could easily be done by Kenyans.
Yeah.
So they're actually taking over the jobs that could be given to the common Kenyans who maybe don't have the education level that's high enough for them to get these bigger job opportunities.
So you're basically, there's a problem with outsourcing problems to Chinese instead of solving them naturally?
Yeah, not only limited to Chinese, but generally the Western world.
I think essentially other stronger economic powers helping the less economically strong countries is not a bad idea, but neocolonialism actually is. The fact that the word contains the word colonialism just signifies basically an abuse of power, basically the whole higher power imposing all sorts of regulations on the smaller underdeveloped countries. And I think that in an ideal world, it would actually be a good thing. Unfortunately, the world isn't all peaches and cream, so there's always going to be a breach of power, an abusive relationship, and basically the underdeveloped country is not going to benefit from this at all.
Kevin, you mentioned that it would help improve the schools in, let's say, Kenya. For example, let's use us as an example. Most of us aren't studying to stay in Ghana, we're studying to leave Ghana.
Of course.
So you see, it actually
our
doesn't
schools aren't the
benefit.
best, are they?
Exactly, I get your point though. Makes a lot of sense.
Don't you think though, essentially, neocolonialism, it's not just, these foreign powers didn't come from nowhere. Basically, they were invited in to do exactly what they're doing. Our leadership established connections for them to allow this. So
what, do you think this problem could just be solved with more competent leadership then?
I mean,
No. See, the problem is it will harm the country, but not the person who's in power of the country. So
that's true,
Still
but then they shouldn't be
benefits-
in power, because you're empowered to help govern the country and make lives better for everybody in the country, not for yourselves.
I
Absolutely.
believe the solution Kwame Nkrumah said about this in his book, about neocolonialism, was that Africa in essence should unite, all the African countries should unite against the higher powers,
Yeah.
so that they unite all their economies to be able to strengthen each other and become better.
So the takeover of the laborers, the union of workers that take over the country, with unions, with better social standards and safety nets, which help everybody and the common man to
Yeah.
produce and to thrive in a nation
Yeah.
built by people who work hard,
Yeah.
people who get what they deserve every day and not feed off of what we produce, what
Yeah,
we
what we
the
produce.
common man
Yeah.
produce.
Yeah.
Okay, you said something I wanted to touch on. So you said that the more developed countries should benefit less. But then if they benefit less, then what's the whole point of them helping us? Because if they help us, they will need something in return. And if they don't ask for our resources, then they might ask for future favors in international relations, and maybe we might not want to support them or their stance on stuff like that.
That's another
So-
reason why I'm saying neocolonialism is actually not a good thing, because the fact that they want to benefit from us and not help us out of, I get that this world nothing is for free, but the fact that they're gaining so much that we could have used to improve ourselves, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but that's like saying I want give me a free lunch.
I
And
mean, I don't
down
think
the line-
she means it for it to be
I know,
free.
not equivalent exchange.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not like
They
They should
really
be
don't
eating-
need, they don't need all that. They
exactly.
really
It's
don't.
Yeah,
like
but it's
them
like
eating
me-
sandwiches
okay.
as opposed to caviar. every
It's like
day
me
for
giving you
lunch, like-
$5 in a rainy day, and
Uh-huh.
then when I need those $2 or $3, you're just not gonna give it to me. I need that money.
Okay,
for
but
that
Kevin, you
time.
can't lie. These countries are developed. They have the money. That's the
Yeah, but
that's
the point of them
actual-
investing in foreign nations is to create or attain some benefit or some benefits from it or profit.
They
That's the
are
capitalist
benefits.
And that's the
bullshit.
issue.
I mean, that's the capitalist goal, right? Is to gain profit and then invest that profit and then we gain more profit, in a sense.
So in the end, what's our conclusion on neocolonialism?
It's fake, it's worse. It's not good.
I
So-
mean,
There are
at this
benefits.
point, we practically would not develop without it. But the disadvantages outweigh the
Like,
advantages.
yeah, like in Zambia, they're just gonna have so much debt in the long term.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be
In
beneficial.
Ghana here, we are very, very deep in debt, and we're just digging ourselves down deeper. It's gonna get worse if we continue down like this. I think that neocolonialism actually, it has its advantages, but I think that the disadvantages outweigh the benefits more.
It's like it's almost impossible to gain from it actually.
Yeah,
You're never
in
gonna
the long run.
catch up to it.
It's like a gotcha, like good in the short term,
It's like
bad in the long term.
it feels like a shark, like a loan shark. You just give me something real quick, and when it's later, and then you have to pay it back. It's so big, and then it's just like really bad.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of AIS Roundtable. We hope to see you next time. Thank you for joining us for this episode of AIS Roundtable. We hope to see you for the next episode. Goodbye.
Don't break, just
Continue
thank
flow.
you, blah, blah, blah.
And don't wave at the end, don't say goodbye.
I knew I
Trust
was
me.
going to
Why not?
Genuine.
It's funny.
No, it's not.
It's
Trust
funny.
me. You don't want to watch it.
It's
It looks very funny. Okay, let's take it.
Okay, let's stop.
Let's take it. Okay.
No,